Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center.
Welcome to another episode of the Diggles Diamonds podcast. Mr. Bentley and I have got the band back together, and we brought a new rhythm section and a new horn section. Dave remains on lead guitar, and I will be handling all synth playing. So we are joined today by a wide variety of young men. And the reason that Dave and I wanted to do this, he has been doing, has been paying close attention to the recruiting this summer. I have been on the road for much of the summer with the Rhino K's group. And D1 coaches, by and large, are not recruiting anything but arms in the class of 2026. And so what Dave and I have done is we've reached out to coaching staffs, we've reached out to young men that we know that play at levels like Division II, Division III, junior college, NAIA, USCAA, and tried to get as many of them in one place to kind of give you guys that are still uncommitted a feel for, hey, this is what drew me to this level. Oh, that kid's got a similar story to mine. Whatever it might be. Dave, you got anything to add there before I start introducing these?
I think you surmised it perfectly. I think the point of this episode is to show, as you said, even young 16-year-olds out there, your 27s and 28s, that look, we all wanted to play D1. There's no reason not to have the dream, but the reality has changed so much. Diggle, you know more than anybody, especially the last 3 to 4 years. You could maybe even a little bit longer than that, but
I'd say 5.
It's just a different landscape than 1996 when I was a senior. I mean, there were guys I played with that I said, yeah, he's going D1, and they did. And you could call it a year ahead. You could see it because they made All-State as a junior. He's going D1, and they did. Nowadays, no, nothing is guaranteed. So there are other places to go that either can be a stepping stone to D1 or just a place that's a better fit for you for your entire time of playing in college.
A place to get a great education and get a discount on it. Heck, some of the schools these guys are at, I would, I remember my parents, were like, no, you're not going there. But our whole family's gone there. No, you're not going there. So anyway, let's start introducing these gentlemen. First, the elder statesman of the group, recently graduated from Illinois Wesleyan University, where he was an All-CCIW outfielder. Cade Tomhave. Cade, how you doing?
Good.
Cade, are you joining us from Pittsfield tonight?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Correction, I was a first baseman. I'm not near athletic enough to be an outfielder.
I don't know why I said outfielder.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to get too much credit,
Don't want any teammates reaching out going, really, dude?
And they would, believe me.
Yeah. Next up, we have Eloy Suarez Jr., who was spent this year at Central Alabama Community College. And I believe you have transferred to Parkland now, right, Eloy?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. So there's Eloy.
How's it going, guys?
Then down here in the lower left-hand corner on my screen, we've got Caleb Hackman. Caleb just finished up an all-conference freshman year at Augustana College. Hack, take a bow there, buddy.
Nice to meet you. Hello.
And then in the middle of my screen here, we've got the last two guys we've got are guys after my own heart, JUCO bandits. We've got Lewis Slade from Southwestern Illinois College. Lewis, take a bow.
Happy to be here.
And last but not least, I'm so excited this guy could actually join us on the pod. I thought I'd pissed him off when we switched it from Sunday to Tuesday. And we are blessed to be joined by none other than Seth Impson, straight out of Lincoln Land Community College. I'm unclear. Are you going to Memphis this year or next?
This year.
Thank God.
Yeah, no more MWAC.
Yeah. I owe somebody on the Memphis staff some money. All right. Well, if you guys don't mind, let's start with each of your backstories, and we'll start in the order I introduced you there. Cade, why don't you tell us how you came to end up at Illinois Wesleyan?
Sure. So I had no plans of playing baseball in college up until about January of my senior year. I was fully committed to going to U of I as a student, and then luckily, Coach Martell, who was my coach at Wesleyan for 3 years, reached out, and it was about 2 weeks after that phone call that I ended up committing. Like I said, so glad I did. Dealt with some injuries first few years, and then finally stayed healthy for that farewell tour, or if you will. But I mean, it was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything else. I'm so glad that I chose a smaller school, even if that was my only choice. Um, but yeah, it was a great ride, and it's like I said, it's nothing I would trade for anything.
Fun fact: when I'm around Professor Martell, I will slide into a northeastern accent, like the Maine Boston accent. It pisses him off to no end. But I can't
What
help it. It's just
accent? I
here.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're
Attaboy.
talking
Way to
about.
save yourself. Way to save yourself. All right. Well, Cade, we're thrilled you're here, man. And, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story. And we'll come back around to you here, I'm sure.
And
Sure.
don't and I feel like I love that was your one spot to go, but dude, I mean, I don't have to tell you, the Titans, they got a college D3 World Series in their belt over the last 20 years. So, I mean, I look at them as, them in North Central and Whitewater, like those are top tier schools for baseball. I don't care if they're D3 or D4.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I
Man.
I think yeah, the obviously, I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it. The competition or the skill at the D1 level is going to be a little better than at the D3 level, but the same passion for the game is shared amongst everyone, and you can see that with the effort and the time that's put in among CCIW schools that I've saw, firsthand. You mentioned North Central, Augustana.
Yep.
Little nod to Hack there. I saw
Yep.
him standing on first base next to me one too many times. I was getting tired of it. But yeah.
Very nice. Next up, we'll go to Eloy. Eloy, you had kind of an interesting recruitment. You started out committed to ISU, and I don't know what happened there, but ended up going south for junior college. Why don't you take us through your how you came to end up at Parkland?
Yeah. I think a lot of times you hear people be late bloomers. I would say I was the complete opposite. I was early bloomer. Not that I bloomed, but I was ahead for my age. I think the recruiting process started at like 14 for me.
Okay.
It was during that COVID time. TJ Bennett is the one who recruited me to ISU. The reason I chose to decommit from there is because like he was no longer coaching there.
Right.
And I was still young. I still had, I hadn't played an inning of high school baseball yet. So decided to decommit, keep my options open, and then dealt with some injuries. I talked to schools my entire high school experience, if you will. But my junior year, I decided to go down south and play in all those WWAs, those PBR National, all those. And that's where I found Central Alabama. And that's where I was this past year. The South is not to be played with. That is for sure. You get pretty familiar with roaches and snakes quick. And the talent is great out there. But I just wanted to come closer to home. It's tough being out there alone, cooking, no family. You got friends and that's all you really got. But, I figured I could do the same thing over at Parkland and still have my loved ones close to me.
Yep.
Absolutely. One of my favorite there's two of my favorite baseball stories about the South. Both end up, one of them was a right fielder at ICC, Trey Hannum, who's obviously turned into quite the hitting coach. and then Illinois went down to LSU. And in both cases, ICC won and Illinois beat LSU in a series. And I'll never forget Trey coming in from right field going, the guy out there is speaking Cajun. I don't know what he's saying, but he's pissed. And and then I'll never forget when LSU swept, or when Illinois took the series from LSU, Eric Snyder, who's now the recruiting coordinator at Illinois or at Louisville, called me and he's like, dude, they're shaking the bus. They're so pissed. Like they were the kid from U High, Ben Reeser, left-hander, went out and threw like 85% change-ups, and they just called him everything in the book because he wouldn't throw a fastball. So yeah, the South is, yeah, you are 100% right. The South is not to be played with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Mr. Hackman, Caleb Hackman, joining us from Augustana College. Tell us a little bit about your recruitment, Hack.
All right. So everybody's talking about how like they're kind of like a late bloomer and early bloomer kind of guy. I was kind of like an in between for a while. I would say like maybe late fall of like my senior year. My recruiting was kind of when I was like said, all right, I want to play baseball. So it was kind of like an interesting recruiting. I had you help me, and like it was kind of just finding the right fit for me and like my needs. Because like personally for me, like baseball wasn't the top of my priority. I was more of like I wanted to go somewhere and get a good education because I knew that maybe baseball wasn't like the top of my priority. But like as I got there, you started to realize the competition at like these schools. Like everybody's always talking about like the big schools, how it's great to go there. But like I got to Augustana, I realized like as you guys are talking about Wesleyan, North Central, like all these schools, they're a lot better than like people like don't talk about. Like they're good competition there. Arms are pretty up. Like they're good there. They're solid. And so like just finding the right fit for me, the coaches really made me help me feel welcome. Like they kind of promised, like they didn't really promise me, but I want to go somewhere where I knew I'd play right away or have a good shot at it. So that was kind of like something that I was looking for.
I think.
So
go ahead, Diggle.
So just to give everybody some background here, Caleb is one of the kids I helped through my recruiting business, which has obviously been shut down since I came back to the college level. But Caleb, am I right? Did you have a 5.0 out of 4.0 on the GPA?
I had like a 4.4 out of high school.
So yeah. So anyway, ridiculous grades. What'd you get on your ACT?
I think
28.
Like 28 or 29. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4.4 GPA, 29. He produced ridiculous triple-digit exit velos. He was 90 across the diamond. He was 90 off the mound with a filthy slider. Caleb, and I had this talk with Steve Holm. I think I told you about that. Like, if you're a graduate in the class of 2015 with that skill set, man, you're probably an ISU Redbird for free, on an academic ride. And that's what Steve told me. But again, we've just been through such a change that, a kid like you ends up, finding a good fit. Don't get me wrong. Augustana is a great place, but it probably would have looked radically different 10 years ago. So, yeah. So
another thing, just to jump in and kind of piggyback, Augustana, Illinois Wesleyan, North Central, Whitewater, these are schools that are in very cool towns. And to me, college towns are kind of a big percentage of how enjoyable your college education is. And I can speak to this because I played baseball at Monmouth and I love Monmouth, but there's not a whole lot going on there. And then I transferred to Southern Illinois and Carbondale, where there's so much going on, it's hard to get anything done in the classroom. So, I think it's cool that we have a few D3 players that are in some towns that are very, they have everything you need as far as a college town. I mean, yeah, and they're fun. I'm gonna be honest, like they're fun. So,
well, and all those places, whether you're talking about Bloomington Normal or the Quad Cities, Whitewater, they're all there's other colleges there. Like you've got Heartland and Illinois State and Wesleyan in the same town. You've got St. Ambrose and Blackhawk and Augie in the same town, and all kinds of schools up in the suburbs, and Whitewater's fairly close to Madison and all that. So it gives you that big college feel, but at a smaller school like Cade was talking about, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's important. Depending if a kid is a Class A kid from a town of 400, not as much of a factor, probably, as far as do they want to feel like they're in the middle of something fun for college along with trying to get good grades and playing ball. But I think for most of us in the population that are either from a medium-sized town or a bigger area like Chicagoland, the schools, the D3 schools that are represented here tonight are good spots for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. There ought to be a line of kids waiting to go to any of those D3 schools that we've mentioned. 100%. All right, next up we got Lewis. Lewis, first question: what is that flag behind you? It's driving me crazy.
Oh, this right here.
Munchies, nice.
Yeah, it's like a strikeout on like Skittles. It's
nice.
Like, instead of like Skittles, it's like strikeouts. So yeah,
love it. Love it. Well, tell us how you came to end up at SWIC playing for Coach Garsha.
So I was a pretty late bloomer. I was senior year. I was a pretty small kid, but I was pretty misinformed about college baseball because I grew up watching pretty much only major leagues. So I thought, I'm a left-handed pitcher. I thought I had to be throwing 92, 93 at least in high school. And I was planning on going to the University of Iowa. I had pretty good grades. So I was planning on going to Iowa. And then my coach, Dan Clucci at Lake Park, was like, no, you're gonna play college baseball. I was a lefty like around 86, 87, which isn't, crazy, but enough to go to a JUCO, which I learned after that. So I took some visits on some D3 colleges like North Central. I really liked it there, but then went down to Belleville to go on a visit. And, I just like the grittiness of it. Did some research about some players that transferred to some good schools after. And, I just thought it would be good since I'm a late bloomer. And then summer coming into college, I did more research and I was like, a lot of these colleges, big colleges I want to go to, like high power, like arms. So I worked on velo and stuff, got bigger. So, yeah.
Did you know that Coach's kid, Mr. Ryan Colucci, was going to SWIC before your visit, or did you guys visit together, or how did that work?
Yeah, he committed a lot earlier than me. He committed like the fall or like the summer, I think. I didn't start even visiting until like the winter, like
Got it.
a little early winter. So yeah, I knew he was going there, and he kind of nudged me and said, "Hey, come here with me." So yeah, that was a pretty big part of it.
Talk a little bit about, and you don't have experience being somewhere without somebody, but can you just tell the audience how much, I guess, taking the fear out of the unknown, I think, comes with going to college and playing on the same team as someone you've known maybe half your life?
Yeah, I've been playing baseball with Ryan for like 5 years now, 6 years. I've been playing against him since 8U. So, we've been in a lot of similar experiences with the game. So after practices, stuff like that, we would be able to like talk to each other, be like, this is a little different, a little more high leverage baseball. And especially in the conference we are in with Wabash, John A, teams like that, we were like, yeah, it's a little different than high school. It's a lot of great 1 through 9, great hitters, pitchers are high leverage. So yeah, that was very helpful.
All right, very cool. And then last but not least, we come back to Mr. Impson. What a pro, was even muting himself. That's 80 grade field, kid.
Got to be considerate to the rest of the guests and all the listeners. No, so I mean, kind of starting off with the way the recruiting process was for me. I'm sure similar to all the other guys. It kind of changed when COVID went through and everything changed, and we all had to deal with everything. When I was in 8th grade, I went to a prospect camp at SIUE in front of a bunch of schools, and was pretty successful. Had a good day, had a couple hits, threw a couple guys out from behind the plate, and they were really in. Like I was talking to them, and I was really interested in being a Division I baseball player. And then all of a sudden, that like you guys said,
Yep.
that world went out of it. So then I moved on from that, and being from Springfield, the baseball is super rich in this area. So I got to be around good baseball players that went to Lincoln Land and UIS, and I knew that those guys were going through things to have success. So I was always interested in it, and I played for a guy named Justin Palmer, who was the hitting coach and recruiting coordinator at Lincoln Land. I played for him in the summertime, and just the way that we worked together and practiced and trained, I knew that at Lincoln Land I was going to have a chance to be successful and have the jumps and growth as a player and as a person that I wanted to be, while and playing in one of the best conferences in the Midwest. So I kind of just took that opportunity where I was comfortable at home, ran with that, and decided to be a logger.
Very cool. Eloy, I hope you're taking notes here, buddy. We always rep the MWAC. All right. Doesn't matter if we're all on different teams. Everybody has to know that the MWAC is one of the best conferences in the country.
Yeah.
So, and we'll prove it.
There's a reason I'm coming back up here.
There you go.
But
yeah, I know I talked to your dad, and he was excited to be able to see a lot more games and not have that long haul. I think it's probably not even 2.5 hours down to Champaign, or Chambana as we call it in central Illinois.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That drive to Alabama is long, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and throw this open, kind of roundtable style, like we were talking. Each of you, what is the biggest misconception about your school's level? So tell us, why people are wrong about D3, why people are wrong about JUCO. Before we do that, though, I do want to apologize. We don't have a D2 representative. I tried to get Benny Drager, who was a Lincoln Land product and from Morton, and then was finishing up at QU. He just was a senior this year. Benny had to beg off. He wasn't available tonight. So I can speak to some D2 stuff. One of the kids we saw at Cade's Pro Day was a kid from UIS who was up to 98. So D2 is not messing around either. But anyway, let's go here and start with what is the biggest misconception about your level, guys? Feel free, somebody jump in there and
jump in.
I wouldn't call it a misconception, but at Wesleyan, and this is something that isn't exclusive to us, but is special about Wesleyan, is the crowd sizes. And I know what that sounds like, but as baseball players, as athletes in general, everybody wants to play in front of a huge crowd and the atmosphere that comes with it. And it's unbelievable, some of the crowds and the atmospheres that we're able to have. And Hack can attest to this. I think I would put our atmosphere up against, I'd say any school in Illinois, at least. U of I's, they're Division I, so they're going to have huge crowds at their games. But as far as creating an atmosphere of competition, and it's unbelievable. It's unlike anything I've played in, and I've played in the Prospect League, all sorts of different summer leagues. It's nothing like playing baseball at Wesleyan. So I guess you would. I don't think you'd call it a misconception, but maybe a surprise.
Okay. I did notice they had to add bleachers there on the other side of the first base dugout this year. That was new. It was the last time I had seen that. Those weren't there. So yeah, you guys are drawing plenty of fans there to Hornberger for sure.
Yeah.
Cade, I got to go to one of your home games this year against Monmouth. And it did start to rain. I believe the second inning, it opened up pretty big, but I was just really impressed with the Titans, what they've done with that field. I mean, you got the World Series banner hanging in left center. It's in a cool neighborhood. I love your stadium.
It's unbelievable. I could talk about it for hours. That neighborhood, I lived there for my senior year, and that it's an athlete neighborhood right there on the third baseline, and every athlete, I mean, yeah, at Wesleyan, everybody's a fan of everybody, and everybody shows up to, whether it's the soccer matches or the basketball games, the baseball games, football, it doesn't matter. And we always, no matter who we're playing, out of conference like Monmouth, we still had a student section there. We had a student section at every single home game. And there's a lot of schools in Illinois that can't say that they had a student section or anything like that at one. And not saying that's a bad thing, but that I think that speaks to how special it is at Wesleyan for a D3.
Yep.
Anybody else? Hack, I know you unmuted. What are you going in?
I was just gonna say he mentioned something about that third base line, and not lying, it's not a joke. Like I've heard like our pitchers talk about it all the time when they're in the bullpen. They've got Wesleyan students that are on them the whole time. Like
we are not affiliated with the third base line. I want to get out ahead of that. We are not affiliated with the third base line.
Oh, you forget
during
Hack's from
baseball
below
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever happens on those porches is not our responsibility.
Nope. Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's very reminiscent. When I was in college, a couple of my buddies came down to Eastern from U of I, and we had a barn dance, and these two guys threw hay bales in the fire, and when the farm owner correctly was pissed off, Dusty turns around and goes, "Yeah, who were those guys?" And Jimmy goes, "Yeah, they looked a lot like us." It's just like, okay. So yeah, that pretty much speaks for itself there.
If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry.
Hop in,
Yeah, go ahead,
Eloy.
Eloy. I was just about to go to you.
I think the biggest misconception, at least for like JUCO, that I saw is that if you go to JUCO, you're going to play for sure. Like you're gonna be a guy. And I think that's not true. Like every day, no matter where you are, from the start of the fall to the end of the spring, like you have to be a guy and earn that spot every single day, because it's not a promise anymore, and coaches have to win. Like they have to win. So the best 9 guys are going to play. And I think people kind of think like, oh, I'm going to a smaller school, like I'm going to play, and that's just wrong.
Yeah, you see, I think what I pick up on there, Eloy, is there's a lot of kids who think, especially junior college, is just kind of high school extended. Like, oh, I played in high school, so I can play at the local JUCO. And that may be true in some places, but as Seth and I can attest, and you're pointing out, like, it's you have to be like you said, a dude. Like you have to go out there and be able to win ball games, because it's not high school anymore. We don't have to keep you. We don't, have to give you playing time to keep parents happy. It is we're judged on wins and losses, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're.
Sorry,
go ahead. No, after you.
I had a pretty cool experience, and I don't even know if this is legal for this coach to do this, but I won't say any names. But there was a school at it was a big school, and he pulled my entire summer ball team aside after a game, and my summer ball team had some big time commits like Louisiana Lafayette, Oklahoma, Virginia Tech, and he sat us down and said, "I would take none of you." We got smoked, and he was like, "The truth is that I feed my family if we win, so I want guys who want to win, and none of you guys looked like you wanted to win out there." And that like changed a whole lot for me. Like they have to win, and the quicker you can understand that, the more realistic you're going to be about yourself and where you are throughout the year.
Eloy, I'm going to need you to text the name of that coach to Mr. Bentley so that I can call him and thank him, because that is absolute fire right there.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I think something that goes with that is when you get to a junior college, you're not the only guy that's there for that spot trying to get better. Whether your coach is your best friend or not, and his job, because there are coaches out there that I mean, their jobs are locked down, right? Like they're, especially in junior colleges, like community colleges aren't looking to
we found somebody who actually wants to do this.
right, 100%. But you got a guy that's coming in behind you that maybe was less fortunate in the opportunities that he got in the recruiting process, and he's there to show up to practice every day, and that rep that you don't want to take because your knee's bothering you or whatever, the guy behind you is going to take it at 100% effort, and that guy's going to take your job. And I mean, as we're seeing in the world that we live in, if that guy takes your job and you don't play and you don't get the ABs and you don't get the reps, man, you're done. Like you don't have an opportunity to go play at the next 4-year or another junior college. Like they're not handed out like that. It's just not. And it's a dog eat dog world where if that guy's better than you, he's even if he's your teammate, like he's gonna take your job.
And just that's why Seth Simpson's going to be a hell of a coach one day. I've gone on record saying it, and I stand by that. He might eventually be the GM of a Major League Baseball franchise. We'll see. But to add on to that, there's a lot of guys now who, whether you're calling it the portal or not, obviously the NJCAA has a portal. There's a lot of, everybody has the ability to transfer basically. But even those kids who, lost that job and are transferring now, you might not land anywhere. Like there is a very real possibility that your career is over because there are just not as many spots as there used to be. Whether that's, the D1s only wanting to recruit from the portal, from the D1 portal. I've heard that a lot this summer. Or whether it's, kids holding out for a level and finding that there's no takers at that level. And by then, everybody that had offered them previously has moved on. So those are all great points from the junior college perspective. Lewis, you got anything to throw in the ring there, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, Seth put up a great point that, if you are lazy or you get hurt or whatever, the next guy, it's just next guy up for the coaches. These coaches in JUCOs, they take their job as seriously as coaches in the D1s. They want to win. And especially with big time schools like Parkland, Lincoln Land, schools like that, those coaches, they need to win their conference a lot of the time. And they'll just put out on the field best guys, people who work the hardest. So, yeah, it's not you go to JUCO, you start, and that's that, and you just play good. You gotta work for your spot, and these coaches want to win.
All right. Oh, Dave, you got like a roundtable question you want to throw in there?
Boy, I got one for Eloy. Eloy, I know you visited Parkland. You're going there, but you've got a unique perspective, having played for one JUCO in the South, and you're now heading to the Midwest. And you probably can't answer this because you haven't really moved in yet, but what can you say already the differences between Central Alabama or JUCOs in the South in general versus the Midwest?
Yeah, and this is not me. This is, like you said, I haven't been there, so this is going just based off what I had in travel ball and going south, playing in the Midwest. I think you have your dogs, right? Especially in the Midwest. Like those are your top guys. That's your outliers. And then there's a little bit of a drop off. I feel there's a little bit of a drop off in the South. You got your dogs, and then really good players, and then good players, and then guys who have potential to be really good players. Like it's just like the entire lineup is just guys who could break in and be a dude. And that was a rude awakening a little bit, because it was like I walked in and just like seeing the guys from the other position, it's like, okay, that's probably gonna be a starter. And then you see another guy take a rep and he's like, wow, he's also clean. Or guy takes a swing and you're 10 batters deep and everyone's hitting the ball out. Like it's just, I feel that the gap is just not as big in the South. Like everyone is good.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Like that's kind of the depth is, you're right. It's something a little bit different down there. We went to Northwest Mississippi back in February, and I think we figured out that I want to say 87% sticks in my head, but that sounds ridiculously high. But like 87% of the fastballs we saw in that doubleheader were over 92. Like you see, Seth, you can attest to this. Like pretty much every starter in the MWAC's upper 80s, low 9s. That's just the way it is. But when you get into the bullpens, it gets a little hit or miss. Somebody might have a great breaking pitch, or might have a good fastball, but man, you just don't see like too many teams packing. Oh, hey, this guy was 92 plus, this guy's 94 plus, this guy's 92 plus at the JUCO level, at least not in the same game. So yeah, you're absolutely right on that front, Eloy.
Yeah, I think something that goes with the differences of that in the MWAC, you'll have those guys, but in the South, at least the way I perceive it, is those guys are more polished with what they bring to the table and their skill set. And a large part of that is probably just because those guys are getting more reps than we are outside in game throughout the months where here there's snow on the ground and it's 7 degrees outside, and they can run live at bats outside and do those
Yep.
type of things. So like,
yeah, if we're lucky,
yeah,
if we're lucky, we get to take kids out in the parking lot and give them a look at fly balls before we leave for Senatobia, Mississippi on February 14th.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, they've seen fungos exactly once, and it was against a crappy gray sky that was threatening to snow, and it was 25 degrees out. So yeah, absolutely.
I think too.
I think that's...
Like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Eloy.
I think like the goals are just a little different because of at least where I was, what I picked up from my teammates, because of the schools that are around. There's a lot of kids there who grow up and it's like SEC or bust. Like they want to go to Auburn, they want to go to Texas, and like for them, that's all they know. Like they've grown up there, they've been there. You talk about the Big Ten, they're like, oh no, I'm good. It's too cold, and I think that kind of brings the level up a little bit overall when that's what you're shooting for and you know what you're going up against.
I would agree with that as well. I really like that.
I got a question real quick for our two D3 ballers, and it has to do with something that I personally had difficulty with, and it was a big reason why I quit baseball and transferred to SIU and finished out and focused on having fun and trying to get good grades. But the question is, Cade and Caleb, can you talk about, and this isn't a knock against JUCO academics, but I think we can all agree, Wesleyan, Augustana, Monmouth College, tough academic schools. I had a hard time, and it was really a maturity thing, bad organizational skills, bad priorities. I had a hard time getting good grades, playing ball, and then also having fun. Cade and Caleb, can you talk about the difficulties or the style that you guys have adapted to, where you have to study pretty damn hard? And especially the thing I learned too late is take the minimum 12 credit hours in the spring during the season and make sure at least 3 of those classes are easy. Can you two talk on that a little bit? And all of you, in fact, feel free to chime in on this topic, because I struggled with it, and it's kind of the main reason I quit baseball. I mean, I didn't quit school. I quit baseball and focused on academia. Anyway, go ahead.
I think that when Wesleyan or any prestigious, if you will, school is looking for, their ideal student athlete and who they want to represent their school, there's a profile that you have to fit, and that's one that you're not prioritizing baseball, and it's tough when you've got a group of guys that you play with for 4 years that love this sport so much to also realize that this isn't the end all be all, and it's our main focus is on bettering ourselves as people, bettering ourselves professionally in an academic setting, and connecting with new people, gaining new experiences, learning new things in general. And I found it easy because of the people I was around. And so I have a hard time taking credit for, getting good grades, finally seeing success on the diamond. There's way too many people around me that were vested into my growth as a person and a ball player at the same time. So really, it's just about the people around you that have that common goal, and they're parallel.
Mac, what about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I've only had 1 year of college academics personally.
Is Augustana still on the trimester system? Like you have 3 sets of classes each year, or do they go to or do they go to regular semesters?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the three semester.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay.
So the one thing I noticed is that like from high school, because obviously I just first year of college.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed is that like you really gotta like you can't for like high school. I'm sure we've all procrastinated like our work and we kind of pushed it off to like the last minute of like I noticed in college like you really can't do that. Like you, especially as an athlete, you got to prioritize that work just because you got to be able to well manage your time. If you like he was talking about, you have athletics, academics, and then still being able to have that time to yourself where you can enjoy the college atmosphere. And really all 3 of those start with, like Cade was talking about, it starts with the people that are around you. Like you have to be able to have people that are invested in academics as well as much as the athletics, like people that are willing to like, because I can't even tell you how many times we people on our bus rides that would like be studying for tests at like 11 p.m. on our way home from Carthage. Which is like 3.5 hours away. Like, like just having teammates that are like that, they're there that are going to push you to be your best, both athletically and academically, because that's just as important in life as athletics are.
Love it.
It's a good point. I just remember at the end of my first semester, and to be honest, 1996 fall ball was a joke. We had a practice here and there with no coach, and I went to like half of them, and no one really seemed to care. But I got very average grades, and my mom was like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm just like, "It'll be fine." And then I realized how much harder that spring semester was, and it was just terrible organization, terrible planning, and most of it was just immaturity on my part. But I think it's a very important thing that will be warning any of my children who are lucky enough to play a sport in college. I'll be all over them to not kind of have the same issues I did, because I just struggled getting good grades and playing ball at the same time, at least at that point in my young life.
And for you junior college guys, one of the things I notice, a lot of people assume that junior college means like you didn't have grades. And, back when my folks were coming of age, the 70s, the 80s, in some cases that might have been true. You guys are all probably too young to remember something that was really big in the 80s called Prop 48, which is where if you were ineligible, if you didn't meet the academic eligibility requirements, you could still get a scholarship to like Illinois or Illinois State, but you had to sit out your freshman year, prove you could handle the academics, and then you could play as a sophomore and on. I can't speak for obviously everybody, but I've never recruited a JUCO player with lower than maybe a 2.8 or a 2.9. Like you just don't see, like junior college baseball players by and large are also very good students. I'm guessing you 3 all hold to that as well. Anybody want to share their GPA just out of pride?
It's like you just left that hanging out there. Like who's gonna confess?
I'll speak on this. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You got
Go
it.
ahead, Lou.
All right. So in high school, I was a pretty good student. You know, I had like a 3.7, I think, out of 4. You know, I got accepted into some good schools, like average schools, like Iowa, stuff like that. And I was going to go there, but you know, a lot of judo guys, as I've seen here, they also care about academics as much as baseball. A lot of them, and you know, it's definitely not as hard as Illinois Wesleyan or Augustana, but you know, you still got to put some effort into school. And I think a lot of the people here, like our academic advisor, you know, get on us for that, and they care as much on academics as they do as baseball. Just because to get to your D1s or good D2s, you got to have those academics, and you know, it's a lot easier than a lot of academics are a lot easier than a lot of D3s, but it's still almost as important because you got to get to those good D1s and have good grades.
That's a good point, Lou. I mean, and Diggle, you know this better than anyone, having been in the JUCO business for 20 plus years. You want to keep playing ball, you want to play ball D1 when you're done with JUCO, you better have a good GPA.
Yep. I literally told that to a kid the other day on a visit. I said, you know, one, you can stack that money, but two, I will guarantee that there is someone else out there with your abilities. And if you have a 2.5 and they have a 3.5, I know who the coach is taking every time. He's not taking you just because you're so damn special with your 2.5. He's going to take the other kid that has almost your mirror skill set and has a 3.5, and he's not going to have to worry about getting yelled at by his AD for having, you know, a crappy team GPA or something. So absolutely. But the biggest thing is your ability to stack. You know, I tell people all the time, Mason McCoy got 85% for baseball to Iowa. He had a 3.8 GPA, so the other 15% was covered. And then he qualified for Pell Grants, so he was making like $7,000 a year plus cost of attendance because Iowa's a Power 4 to go to school. Like, you know, it can just make the whole point of college baseball for 99.9% of you guys is to use baseball to get your education, and in most cases get a discount on that education because you know, whether you're on a 50% ride or 100% ride or, you know, 50-50 academic and 50-50 baseball, whatever, either way, it beats the hell out of paying full freight for sure.
I think
Yeah,
another.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, you
Go
got
ahead,
it.
Seth.
All right. I mean, a couple pieces here. Kind of to piggyback off of Cade, I would say junior college is almost the opposite in the fact where academics are still important, right? Like we're still going to class as much as we can. I mean, there were times where I would go to class dressed in my uniform and then get on the bus to go play SWIC at 3:00 on a Monday. So like those things are still there. However, I would be lying to you if I said a junior college is not an opportunity to almost be an athlete first, right? You have the opportunities to take care of what you need to in the weight room and practicing year round without contact limits and all that kind of stuff. So you have that ability to be an athlete first, but your academics are still right there behind everything and are as just as important. Along with that, I think in junior college, you see so many guys that are hell bent on wanting to play at the next level, and they understand to do that. You have to take care of it in the classroom, whether you want to or not. It's just something that you have to do to put yourself in a position to have success. So you got to do it, right? Whether you want to or not, it's a have to type of thing. And then I think there are also a group of guys out there where you want to give yourself the best opportunity. So like you're giving yourself that leg up on somebody if you have a 3.5 instead of a 2.5. I was kind of like that coming out of high school. I took like 30 dual credit hours when I was in high school. So after my freshman year at Lincoln Land, I graduated with my associate's degree. So wherever I moved on to, I have a degree already. So all of my classes take. So like you're saying, those colleges,
everything transfers.
yeah, and those colleges don't have to worry about me keeping my GPA up, showing up on time to meetings, doing that type of stuff. So again, I'm leveling myself up on the guys that maybe didn't take those things as serious academically.
Absolutely. And fun fact, I just learned this changed while I was out of the game, Mr. Impson. Evidently you only have to be taking 6 hours now to be able to play at junior college. So if you come in with AP classes or dual credit classes, heck, how many dual credit hours did you have? You remember?
I think I had 18.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was at least a semester's worth. So whether you're talking about sets 30 or hacks 18, what that allows us to do is now, and this is a great point. If you're a freshman in high school right now, starting your sophomore year, or if you're a sophomore starting your junior year, take those dual credit and AP classes, because now all of a sudden you have to take 2 classes to get through. We had guys that took 8-week classes last year and took 9 hours in the 8 weeks, and they were done with class by March 15th. Literally for the last 2 months of the season, their job was to show up, lift, and play ball. Like it makes your schedule so much more flexible. So absolutely take those dual credit classes and take those AP classes and get that college credit now, because one, it's cheaper. If you're not on a full ride, it's gonna, be a lot cheaper for you to go. But 2, just it makes time management so much easier. So
Eloy, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like a plus to the JUCO is like, at least for me, I was able to get a lot of help. Like the teachers are super available, and like I'm definitely not. I didn't have a 5.0 in high school for sure. Like I was not the guy who was gonna break the scale. But in college, like the teachers for JUCO were super accessible. I would say every day I was in one of my teacher's office, just like getting help, and then, you know, ultimately I ended up with a 4.0 my freshman year.
very nice.
It wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have the accessibility with those teachers, or some of those professors. And it was a big help for me.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, gentlemen, I don't have anything else. I've got a closing question, but if Mr. Bentley has something else, I'll let him slide in here.
I don't. I appreciate all you guys coming on, some of you on short notice, and us moving the dates. This is our off season for the show. So, but we, Ben had this idea for this theme of the episode, and I think it's really important and will be really helpful for 16, 17, 15-year-old kids who listen to this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So my closing question, if I put a 2026 in front of you right now, what is your biggest selling point for your respective school? You can do just your level if you want, but I want to give you guys all a chance to put a little shine on your schools too. Cade, why don't you go first, buddy?
Sure. I guess, I mean, this is an easy answer for me. Unfortunately, I won't get to reap the benefits of these new facilities that are going up at Wesleyan. But in a matter of, I think in the next year, I don't know all the details, but the baseball program's getting a whole new clubhouse right on the baseball field. We're getting our own locker room. It's fully, it's a clubhouse. It's not just a, throw it together shed type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a legit clubhouse, and that, along with our brand new turf that is unlike any turf I've played on. It plays just slow enough to feel like it's true grass and dirt, but I'll put those facilities up against any other school in Illinois right now. Once that goes up, I'm really excited, and I have a younger brother that's going to be a sophomore at Wesleyan, and it's going to be special. So if anybody's watching this and you're looking for somewhere to I mean, it's going to be baseball all the time. You won't leave that clubhouse, and you're going to enjoy every second. Take a look at Wesleyan because it's going to be pretty special.
And you guys just got the Aware system too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. How could I forget? I mean, that's. I mean, it's incredible. Every inch
I'm
of
mandated. I'm mandated to say that. By the way, Ken Spangenberg would blow me up if I didn't plug Aware. So
sure,
there you go. There you go,
sure.
Ken.
Yeah, that's another thing a lot of people yeah, and we got TrackMan set up to that too.
Yep.
It's legit, and every inch, every play, every angle of every single play, practice to game is recorded and accessible to every player, and it's incredible.
All right, Eloy, what sold you on Parkland? I know, again, obviously you're just starting out there, but in the recruiting process, what was like? Yes, that's where I want to be.
Just being close to home. I got a buddy on the team who had a lot of good things to say. I got people close to me at U of I that I feel good around, just good people. So that was a big thing. And then what I would say to a younger recruit is like just make sure you know the town that you're going to. Because for some people, like going to Urbana-Champaign might not be a good thing, right? Like it just might not be a good thing. Or like for my case last year, like going to Alex City, Alabama it was a rude awakening. Like there is nothing there. And coming from Schaumburg or Hoffman Estates, just big areas, it was tough. It was a big change. I made it happen, because I just wish I would have realized that part more instead of being so focused on baseball, and realize like I have to live here for an entire year. So
Yeah.
that would be my advice.
Totally get it. Absolutely.
Plus, Parkland's got a pretty cool mascot, the Cobras. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Nah, Eloy's in a good spot too because they get to play at Rantoul. He's going to hit 50 homers there.
Not bitter. Hashtag not bitter. Definitely did not give one up.
Not there, I didn't, but I did at home, but not there. I think in that we played them doubleheader at Rantoul. It snowed the first day, so we banged it and played the next week. And I am serious. I think we hit like 16 home runs in one day. Seth Winkler hit 4 homers in one day. It was unbelievable.
Come on, he did that against us.
He did that against everybody.
Yeah, he did that against everybody. That kid terrorized the league this year. All right, Hack, what would you say? What drew you to Augie?
For me, just obviously the academics, I've hit on that a lot. But really I would say the two main things for me was the coaches, like just the coaches that were there. They really I would say make sure you know the coaches that are there, get to know them well before you go, because you're going to be with them for 4 more years, and just picking the right coach that really is there for you, is rooting to see the best version of yourself every single day. And then finally, the last thing for me was kind of location. Eloy's talking about, it's kind of close to home for me, but also where it's at, we're kind of Quad Cities, there's things around us to do, to enjoy at the college level, so just making sure that you find somewhere for you where you can enjoy yourself and have a good time.
Very cool. Lewis, give me a good pitch for Dave Darsh's program.
Yeah, so I wish I could say we have the nicest facilities and the best weather and the best city, but I can't lie, that's just not true. But it's very gritty, and we have, in my opinion, some of the best coaches in JUCO with Garsha and our pitching coach. And they train us one-on-one. They won't coddle you. They'll say, hey, this is what you got to fix. They even, poke some jokes at you if you got to fix something. And winning is the main component here. And, we just came off winning our conference. And again, it's just one of the grittier schools I've ever seen. A story in this spring, early spring, we were playing at a turf field because it was snowing, and we had to wake up at 7:30 in the morning and pour buckets of warm water on the snow and shovel the whole outfield. And then we came back 3 hours later to play a baseball game. And, that's just what you're going to get from SWIC and from a lot of these JUCOs is just, it's gritty. And if you want to come here and win and, get your abilities better, then SWIC is definitely the school to do that.
Not to be confused with those 7 a.m. tarp pulls at good old Claude Grayson Field, huh, Em?
I mean, I think we probably pulled the tarp 3 or 4 times. And I know what Lewis is talking about. That was for us to play. We were going down there. We went down there to play. It was Lincoln Land, SWIC, and Iowa Western and Triton. So we're doing that, getting ready to play the number 4 team in the country at the time. And I don't remember if you guys beat them early in the year. I know you did late, but
yeah, we did late.
The 4 team in the country, and we're shoveling snow just so we can get the opportunity to play them. It's gritty. It's gritty.
I love it. Well, guys, Seth, you got anything to add? You want to sell the Loggers program?
I mean, yeah, always. I mean, a lot of love to the land in the MWAC. I think I'll go more junior college as a whole type of thing for the point of the podcast of the levels that we're in and all these kids that want to treat every level like a junior college almost, where we're saying, oh, hey, like I'll go to a small Division I and I'll just play well, and then I'll go to the SEC, or I'll go to this junior college and go to a Division I, whatever. I think it's great, the ability for kids to be able to do that and go to the portal and go to the big schools that they dream of. However, like we see so often, these guys go to Division I schools or Division II schools where you're playing against 25-year-olds and youngins that aren't ready to play. You're an 18-year-old kid, no hair on your face. It's just tough. And if you don't play, you can't transfer, right? Like they're all gonna be based off of stats. And if you have 7 at-bats at a Division II school, guess what? The Missouri Tigers do not care who you are. Whether you're a really good player. That's just the truth. So being able to go to a junior college and go to the Puma Classic in the fall and play in front of every school in the country gives you an opportunity to hit a home run, steal 2 bases, and make a good play up the middle. And all of a sudden, now you're on some radars without hitting 350 over 56 games and having a good year. So the best advice I can give is go somewhere where you're going to play. Whether you're going to win 10 games or 50 games, stats don't lie, man. I mean, we're not chasing them, but they don't lie. So if you can go there and have success and go to the school that you want to go to, go do it and show love to the game.
All right. Well, guys, I can't tell you how great this was. This is probably by far one of my favorite episodes. Each one of you just dropping some absolute gems, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. You are all of you, and Cade, I didn't have the pleasure of knowing you before this, but I knew Keller was rifling through his Rolodex trying to find the kid he trusted most, and I can see that he picked well, man. So every
he just
Lewis,
knew I was the only one that would do it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's also the kid you trust the most.
So, Coach, if you're watching this, you're welcome. Yeah. No, love you, Coach Keller.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you all for being here, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Some of you guys I'll see this fall and this spring. And Hack, always a pleasure to see you. I'm just proud that you used full sentences and spoken paragraphs, buddy. He's getting pissed at me now, but he knows I'm right. Like I'm literally about to text his mother when we hang up and be like, "You said whole words."
I've been working on my speaking a little bit.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Bentley, as always, it's a pleasure. And
gentlemen, thank you for coming on. I gotta echo what Diggle said. Easily one of my favorite episodes we've done, mostly because it's going to be so informative to the young kids coming up.
Absolutely. So, gentlemen, that's all I got. I'm gonna stop recording here.